Hey Squishies, this is another vlog. This is Steven Universe, Season 4, Episode 4. Mindful Education, and I'm really glad that I gave myself permission to have single episode vlogs when I want to, because this needs and deserves one. Wow. You know, always got to be mindful of the recency effect, but this could very well be the best episode of the entire show. Just wow. From the visuals to the song, the voice acting was spot on. I can't imagine it's easy for Stevani's voice actor to switch between one line and the next, between being Steven and being Connie. But she does. And you can tell which she's being with any given line. That's a superb acting job. And alright, just to get it out of the way, the only thing I don't like about this episode is that Connie's issues are kind of just used as an intro into Steven's and get resolved a little too neatly, too easily, too quickly. Now, if we're going to get that boy, Jeff I think his name was, as another character, then maybe we can do stuff with that and that'll be better. But even then, like, excuse me, I want some exploration of what's going on with Connie. Excuse me. And I know it's difficult to do because, like, the writers of the show appear to have made a rule for themselves that everything has to be centered on Steven. I don't think we've ever had a single scene in which Steven was not present. Or that, you know, either he's there or he's watching or something. Like, I recently rewatched the episode that introduced Sugarlight. And I noticed that Steven watches Pearl through the window when she sings Strong in the Real Way. Things like that. Like, everything is about Steven's awareness and Steven's universe. And this is one of the downsides to that, is that we don't get the focus on Connie that I would have liked to have. But the episode is still amazing with what it is. You know, the song, it was one of the best the show has ever had. I don't think it quite hits the level of things like Pearl's song in Mr. Greg or Garnet's song in the first season finale. But it's good. And it's really important too. I mean, while I was watching it, I was thinking, where the hell was this show when I was Steven's age? When I was 13 or 14. Because God, to have seen something like this back then. To be introduced to these ideas that early, maybe things would be different. Because what Garnet is teaching them is essentially mindfulness. Being aware of your own thoughts and feelings and taking ownership of them. And that's a very powerful tool for things like anxiety, depression, trauma. I mean, it's not an instant cure-all, but it's a very powerful tool, or it can be. And I like that. I like the way it's just presented. I like the use of the white butterflies. I don't know what the source on this is. I have encountered a claim that, in regards to a book I read years ago, which claimed that there's a legend that in England that like white butterflies represent thoughts and memories, and that like every time you see one, it means you've forgotten something. I've never been able to find anything to confirm that that's like a real legend, but it's what I immediately thought of. And to be honest, Rebecca Sugar and Ian Jones Cordy are my age. They grew up near me. There's a decent chance that they read the same children's books I did, in which case, especially given that I suspect they were nerdy, bookish kids, they almost definitely read the Dark is Rising series, which means they would have encountered the white butterflies. They were in the last book, I believe. Either way, it was a really useful, a really good way of displaying it, because like the butterflies are immediately present, they're immediately visible, they draw your attention, but they're ephemeral, just like an intrusive thought. And then I loved how each of the characters responded differently in the song. We saw 3 characters, and they all, their butterflies all took different forms. For Ruby, it was a single butterfly that drew her to it and infuriated her and upset her and made her cry. And that's like, you know, somebody who, you know, Ruby is someone who is very reactive and immediately emotional and strongly emotional. And, you know, so it makes sense that like one thing would be enough to make her angry and upset. Meanwhile, Sapphire just sits there with this like calm, cool, everything's fine as butterflies build up around her until suddenly they're too much for her. And she starts to like almost drown in them. And that's, you know, really, you know, that's another way of dealing with, you know, thoughts and emotions, and it's very in keeping with Sapphire's character. You know, and we saw that in Keystone Motel, that she's somebody who bottles things up and takes the long view and tries not to let things bother her, but the danger of that is that things build up and they can overwhelm you. And that's why she becomes frozen, both in Keystone Motel and in The Answer. But in both cases, they're just thoughts. And you remind yourself of that. And you take a deep breath. and you remind yourself that you are here, you are safe. There are people who care about you that you can connect with. Whatever it is that you need to remind yourself of, and then in time it passes. And you come out the other side. That really is how it works. That really is how mindfulness functions as a kind of tool for dealing with anxiety and depression and so forth. And like I said, it's not perfect. It's not an instant cure-all, but it is something that for me personally has been enormously powerful and helpful. And then you get Connie, who's a third expression of this. For Connie, she's got the backpack full of butterflies. And one butterfly comes along, and then the butterflies come pouring out of her backpack and merge into one giant butterfly. And I think that tells us a lot about Connie. I think we've seen hints of it before, that Connie is somebody who has a lot of anxiety, who has a lot of worry, who has a lot of self-worth issues. I mean, this is a girl who got to the age of 12 without ever having a single friend. That has to have taken a toll. And I think she has all these things that she carries around with her, but that she doesn't let out. Until something comes along. Like the incident at her school. And she hurt someone. And all those thoughts and feelings come pouring out. That all the things she's been carrying come out. You know, feelings that she's unlikable and that's why nobody likes her. Feelings that she's unworthy. Feelings that she can't have, you know, friends and stuff because there's something wrong with her. That she's bad and will cause harm to people who try to be friends with her. I can say from personal experience that these are the kinds of thoughts and feelings that someone who spent their childhood severely socially isolated experiences. And when this thought comes along that triggers them, they just sort of all pile together into one huge thing that's centered on the incident that happened, but is drawing, is blown up enormously. It's totalizing, it's drawing power from all these old thoughts and feelings. And again, it's a matter of reminding yourself that no, it's just one butterfly. All those other ones are old. All those other ones are other things. It's not all this. Reminding yourself that, when Stephen is like, I'm here, there are people. You're not poison. You're not broken. And that allows her to breathe and move on. And then we get Stephen later, after the song. And, I've said I'm not going to do reactions anymore because the copyright problems aren't worth it, and I'm sticking to that. But man, I wish you guys could have seen my reaction when Bismuth showed up. I practically fell out of my chair. It was just an amazing moment. And then linking it with other people, that Stephen has essentially caused to die. Again, he hasn't actually shattered any of these gems, but he's hurt them. Jasper, that he couldn't save, and that blamed him and rejected him and hated him until the end. Eyeball. And then he says that he tried to help them, he tried not to hurt them. They, all these recent experiences are tumbling together in his head. And it's sort of like Connie, where they all kind of converge onto the one old thought and feeling. But where for Connie, it's one little thing comes in that triggers it all off. For Stephen, it's just all the old stuff hitting him at once without necessarily an immediate present-day trigger, or at least not one that links up to it the way Connie did. In this case, I think the trigger was simply the sword motion. And the one old thought they all converge on is his mom. Because of course it is. And the expression on her face is so interesting, because I could read it as being judgmental, that this all basically comes down to Stephen's anxiety that he's not his mom, that he's not worth her giving up her form, that he's not good enough to have made her sacrifice worth it. And that, his mom is looking down on him. Or I could see it as, angry. That he now no longer sees his mom the same way he did. That he sees her as menacing, now that he knows that she shattered Pink Diamond. And honestly, it's probably both at once. That would make a lot of sense. That he, is on some level judging his mom for shattering Pink Diamond, and at the same time hating himself for doing that. How dare I judge her? She sacrificed herself to bring me into the world, that kind of thing. And that's overwhelming for anybody, let alone a 14-year-old kid. So yeah, he falls apart, and the fusion falls apart. But I think there's two key things that help him come through it and out the other side, which doesn't mean that these feelings are gone, just that he made it through this incident, which has hopefully taken a little of their power. But all those feelings are still there. It's, first of all, Connie reaching out to him and helping him and being there with him. But also I think that final "I'm here" is about more than just Connie saying to Stephen, "I'm here for you," or Stephen saying to Connie, "I'm here for you." It's saying, I'm here. I'm not in those moments. I'm not in my head. I'm here in the world. I mean, that's why people eat their feelings sometimes. Because the act of eating refocuses you on your physicality and on your senses. The taste of the food, the feel of the food in your mouth, the feeling of fullness when you've eaten. It refocuses you on the here and the now, that you are a body existing in the physical world, that you are not just these painful thoughts and feelings. It's, there's all kinds of things people turn to in order to remind themselves that they are in the world. It's a big part of why people cut. But other healthier things, it's a big part of why exercising can help with, anxiety and depression and trauma and so forth. All of these are things that refocus you on your body. They take you out of your own head and remind you that you are here, you are not there. You are not wherever it is that you learned these thoughts and feelings. You are here and now. And that's so important to do. Yeah. This was an amazing episode. I don't see them topping it anytime soon. I mean, all I can say is bravo. Bravo, and where were you 20 years ago? 25 years ago? Anyway, that's about it. See you all next time. Bye.